Hello, I'm Mark Bellamy, York County's Public Works Director. With me is Brian Woodward, our Deputy Director. And the purpose of getting together today is to discuss the next phase of the Queens Lake Sewer Project. We thought we also might discuss what the residents of that area could expect and also who to call if they have any concerns. To get us started, Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit about the project, an overview, what phase are we in, what the project has cost so far, those kinds of things.
Very good. We started designing the project back in 2006. Initially, there were 5 design phases, but we determined it was best to do the construction in 3 phases. 2 phases have been completed on the east side of Queens Lake, including the vacuum station located at the marina. And now we're getting ready to start the 3rd phase, which is the west side of Queens Lake. So far to date, we've spent approximately $14.5 million. And this next phase is roughly $5.6 million. So when we're all done, the county would have invested over $20 million in providing sewer to the residents of Queens Lake.
Okay. On this section of the sewer, this is a vacuum system. Could you explain how a vacuum sewer differs from say a gravity-fed sewer?
Sure. As far as the resident is concerned, they still have a gravity connection to the vacuum system. Each property will connect to a vacuum pot that separates the gravity from the vacuum. The big difference the residents will see is each property has to have what we refer to as an air intake. Essentially, it looks like a candy cane in their yard. A lot of property owners have been very creative as far as decorating these candy canes, painting them, putting shrubbery around them, putting them in inconspicuous places on their property. But as far as the operation itself, it operates like a gravity system.
Okay. And part of this project will include grinder pumps. Can you talk about a grinder pump and what it does?
Absolutely. Those residents that be served with a grinder pump, they're lower than the vacuum system. So we need a pump to push the sewage up to the vacuum collection system. Now the property owner will have to provide electricity to the grinder pump for the operations. But once it's into the grinder pump, it's just forced through pressure up to the vacuum collection system.
One of the questions that we were asked from the community about this project is, specifically with people on grinder pumps, so what happens when the power goes out? Do they need to change the way they use the system?
Obviously, unless they have a emergency generator that will provide electricity to the grinder pump during power outages, the grinder pump is not going to work. And the grinder pump does have limited storage capacity before the alarms are going to go off. And basically it's full.
Right. So we would ask them to exercise some restraint for taking showers, doing laundry, those kinds of things?
That would be very wise. But we've always recommended for those properties that are served with the grinder pump that they have provisions for providing electricity to the grinder pump during power outages.
Okay. So as the project progresses, at what point in time will people be able to connect to the sewer?
Once the construction is substantially complete, we will send out a letter to all the residents saying, we call it our Notice of Construction Completion letter. And it provides the timelines as far as the residents paying the connection fee and the timing to connect to the system. We're looking at towards the end of calendar year 2017 when that letter will be going out.
Okay. And again, we did ask some of the folks with the Homeowners Association if they had some questions about this project. One of those that came back was, what would you recommend in terms of practices for choosing a plumber and an electrician, because eventually the homeowner will need to do that when they connect. So what's your recommendations on that?
My recommendation is do some homework, talk to your neighbors. Just don't sign a contract with the first plumber that comes by. Get some additional quotes. And what we've found in the past is some of the property owners will go together as a group to try to get a better price with a single plumber. But just do your due diligence and do some homework.
Brian, thank you for your comments. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with the project engineer and the project manager.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Welcome back. We're talking about the Queens Lake Sewer Project. With me now are Richard Sutton, the project manager, and Kevin Campbell, the project engineer. To start with, I wanted to kind of explain your roles to the residents. So Richard, if you'd go first.
As a project manager, I work really close with the residents and the engineer, as well as the contractor, to keep the work in the project on schedule and address any concerns in the project as far as locations of sewer connections or something may not be correct in a yard. We may have to move something or anything, but mainly to keep up with scheduling, quality assurance, and keeping everybody moving forward and sort of happy.
As a project engineer, I worked with the consultant engineer during the design of the project and determined where the layout of the bridge and the sewer lines, including the vacuum pots and grinder pumps, would serve each property. We worked with the homeowners to find the most efficient way to serve their property with sewer.
Okay. So let's talk about the project a little bit now, specifically. So once we start, Kevin, how long do you think, in terms of months, how long will this project last?
It should take around 18 months to finish final completion, and the bridge itself should probably take around 6 months too.
Okay. The bridge, that's kind of an interesting aspect of the project. It's very unique, and there have been a lot of questions about it. So Kevin, why was the construction of the bridge necessary to the project?
The county wanted to serve Queens Lake with one vacuum station because it was the most economical solution for the whole neighborhood to be served by sewer. And since our geotechnical reports indicated that we should not dig in the dam, we decided to create a pipe bridge. And to add an asset to the neighborhood, we decided to make that pipe bridge a pedestrian bridge also, so that the residents could walk and benefit off of it.
Okay, that sounds great. So during the construction, while they're doing the pipe bridge and the pedestrian bridge, will this close the road?
Yeah, we will have the road closed during the whole time frame of the construction of the bridge. And unfortunately, that will limit vehicles and pedestrians going across the dam.
So the kids on bikes should plan on going the other way?
I would assume so, and I think we're trying to bypass the swimming season and start the bridge construction in August so that they should be able to cross the dam during swim season.
Hopefully it'll work out that way, we'll see. So still talking about the bridge. So when it's constructed, who owns it?
The Queens Lake Association will own the bridge, but the county will maintain the bridge and all the assets involved in it.
Okay. Richard, some of the things that I've been asked about the roads, they're a little concerned about roads and road openings and open trenches across the roads. Can you talk a bit about that, what the residents should expect?
Yeah, they're going to have a lane closed. There'll be a lane closure during construction each day as they open up their trenches and lay their pipe. It'll be one lane of traffic open for residential traffic and emergency vehicles. If you're just trying to get through to see what's going on, don't get upset if it takes you a minute to get through, because they will get you through. And at the end of the day, they will close their trenches up each night so that the road is passable every night before construction the next day.
And that brings up another point. So what should residents expect as a typical work day for the construction? When will it start and end?
Average work day for the contractors, their day usually starts around 7 a.m. in the morning and should finish around 5, but there are days that they're going to go over due to unforeseen circumstances of broken water lines. We've had issues where an unmarked cable got broken and they had to stay out late to keep the road open until they got it repaired. Those are rarities, but usually it's going to be between the hours of 7 and 5.
Okay. Would you talk, Brian mentioned it a little bit earlier, but the candy canes. So would you talk a little bit about the placement and the purpose of those again?
The candy cane serves as a purpose for the vacuum pot. When it fires, it has a place to draw air so that when it pulls liquid won't move without air behind it. The candy cane can be placed anywhere on the property as long as it's at least 20 feet away from the vacuum pot. Some people have chosen to put a tee off on their line and branch it over into the bushes or behind a tree. Some folks have chosen to put them all the way up beside the house and turn them up. It's pretty much at the residents' discretion of where they want to put them.
I've seen them painted camouflage too, so they
Yeah,
don't show up.
I've seen them like that too.
Absolutely. And so you mentioned a little bit about camouflaging them with landscaping. So what can the homeowners in Queens Lake expect when the line goes into their property? How are you going to deal with the landscaping that they have on their property now?
The planning in where the vacuum pots are going to go are going into easements which we've already acquired from the property owners. Kevin and I myself have both met with the property owners and discussed what's in those easements as far as planning. And we've compensated the residents for them, and we've tried to dig them up and move them out of the way while we're working. We'll put them back. We don't guarantee that they're going to live, but we're going to do the best we can to save what they have.
Right. So again, when do you anticipate the project will start?
We have a pre-construction meeting scheduled for the 6th of May. I anticipate giving them notice to proceed probably the end of May, 1st of June.
So Richard, to tag on to the question we talked about earlier about what to expect on a daily basis, the homeowners, how will they know who's going to be in their yard, what process is going to happen, like when's the surveyor show up, when does digging start, etc. How will they know all those things?
Just before construction starts, they will see some surveyors out there staking out easements in their front yards. I'm sure we'll have my inspector, who's been assigned to the project, Jeff Moore, will be out there, and he will coordinate with the contractor as where they plan to dig the next day, because they'll have one crew laying main line down the middle of the street, but they're going to probably have 1 or 2 crews setting vacuum pots ahead of that crew in various places throughout the project where their sewer connections go, and possibly some grinder pumps in their backyard. Now Jeff will coordinate with the contractor, the job superintendent, and he'll check with the neighbor that's going to get it the next day. He'll knock on the door, let them know, just so you'll know, these guys will be coming into your yard tomorrow, they'll be digging, and they should have everything cleaned up by the end of the day, or if it takes 2 days to do it. He gives them a general idea of what to expect before the guys get in there and start digging.
I expect that residents will see you out at the job site on a regular basis.
Yes.
But how else would they contact you if they have a concern?
All my contact information is on the county website. Most everybody out there I've pretty much met with and spoke with personally. If they don't already have my contact information, my email address is richard.sutton@yorkcounty.gov. And the best way to reach me is by my cell phone, and that number is 757-897-1863.
And Kevin, how do they get a hold of you if they need to contact you?
My contact information can also be found on York County's Department of Public Works website. But if not, my email is kevin.campbell@yorkcounty.gov, or I can reach at my office phone, which is 757-890-4994.
Okay. Well, thank you both for your contribution to this program. We hope this has been useful to you. Thank you for your interest in Public Works projects and enjoy the day.